Oh, hi there. Do you ever feel like you've just got a whole lot of little bits and pieces and that you need to spend some time wrapping them up really to finish off the projects? That's interesting. I never feel that way at all. But I think it might be about time to wrap some of this stuff up. So thanks for tuning in and welcome back to the shop. That was way more editing than I had intended to do for an intro. What I'm hoping to do today is attach the countertop, secure the sink into it, look at putting a tap in, maybe put the catches in for the latches on the cabinet doors, and if I'm getting along really well, maybe even put the doors on the upper cabinets. But that sounds like an awful lot of little jobs, so don't hold me to it. Let's just see where the video goes. With the countertop positioned, I'm going to remove these 3 doors to give myself the best access for working underneath the counter. As I've mentioned before, IKEA really has figured out how to make hinges. Couple seconds that it takes to remove these, it just makes access that much easier. Installing this countertop really couldn't get much easier. I've just put it in place, and I'm going to take a couple of 1/2-inch stainless steel screws and put them through the brackets that IKEA has already provided. Not really much to this part of it. With that 30-second job out of the way, I can do another 30-second job and put the doors back on. Again, this is a system beautifully figured out. Imagine if cars went together like that. With the countertop now secured, I have a place to attach the catches for the latches. This part of the install is going to be pretty simple as well, because I know these latches are 2 inches from the edge of the door on that side and 13 from the edge of the door on this side. All I need to do is put a mark 2 inches in, and that's the center of my bracket. By a super happy coincidence, this lines up perfectly. The bracket that holds the countertop down is actually exactly in the right spot to line up the tab. So all I need to do is put it flush with the front of the inside, drill 2 holes through the steel, and the bracket's in the right spot. So all I'm doing here is just drilling through the steel bracket. I'm not drilling into the wood. I'm just going to let the wood screw take care of that. I should probably try a sharp drill bit and some safety glasses. Man, I just don't have sharp drill bits in this size. There we go. Okay. Just far enough to get through the steel. Now to make sure I get the second hole in the right spot, I'm going to put the bracket in with 1 screw so that I know exactly where the second hole needs to go. Oops. Wow. There we go. that is not a sharp drill either. I think I'll try drill bit number 3 for the next one. Hey, there we go. And, oh, that is such a satisfying sound. Cupboard door latched and secure, easy to open, easy to close. Installing the remainder of the latch catches is very straightforward, even with my dull drill bits, which thankfully I don't need for the side cabinets where it's just a simple screw mount. You know, I finished this one up here and found that there's a bit of play in it, and I thought, well, that's strange. I used the same measurement from all the other doors, and it's because I don't have the little rubber bumper from IKEA stuck there. Much better. With the latches sorted, let's say we move on to the sink. I've been dying to rip this stretch wrap off of here. Oh, it's like a new phone. Now, while I could install the sink and use it like this, some of you may think that I'm missing something. But maybe I'm not. Because we're using a small bar sink, we also needed to find a small compact faucet. This was about the smallest we could find that had the single handle control, has a pull out with a sprayer, and a pause button. The only downside that I've found to this faucet so far is the length of the threads. These are just a little over 1.5 inches, and of course, we're using 1.5 inch thick butcher block. That means I'm gonna have to take a little bit of the underside of the countertop away in order to get the nut to go on. If you're interested in a faucet like this for your build, take a look in the video description where you'll find a link to Amazon. Warning, what comes next may be hard for some to watch. With the sink in place, I'm gonna use a hole saw to find the center where I need to drill the sink hole. Next, I'm gonna remove the sink. Pretty straightforward. And I'm going to use that center hole to drill straight through. Ooh, that didn't sound good. I'm going to use low gear for this. And because this wood has oil in it, first little bit is going to try clogging this saw a lot. So I'm going to have to continually pull it out and clear the teeth off. Otherwise, I just sit there and burn the wood. I might want to time lapse this part. Before I get all the way through, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm actually going to remove this, run the pilot hole all the way through, in forward. Now I've got a location where I can come up from the bottom with a larger diameter bit.
If you're struggling to understand why I might do this, hang in there. It will become more obvious shortly.
filmed a little bit there that said if you're an avid woodworker, you may want to look away now. And I guess my camera is an avid woodworker because I had the camera the wrong way around. Missed the whole thing. So all you woodworkers out there, consider yourselves lucky because this is what I used to do that. Sometimes you just have to do what works. Now we can put the sink back in with foam gasket underneath it. That foam gasket seems quite large. Now we will be putting a second component in here. We just don't have it yet. It'll be a separate drinking water spout. So for now, this is still somewhat of a temporary install, but we want to make sure everything works. Sink in place. Let's see how the tap fares. Well, the hole in the counter is the right size. Now, the question is, will the nut fit? There's a pretty slick system for attaching the sink. You just drive these screws forward, and as they move up, this arm can swing out, and you keep driving the screw forward and pull it until it pulls down on the bottom of the countertop. There's 3 of these. Once you've tightened them down, the sink is held in place. With the sink held in place, now we can move on to the nut that holds the tap in place. This has a slit in the side of it, so you don't have to slide it all the way up over all the hoses. And now you see my reason for the second cut. With that started, we can spin that up. I gotta make sure the tap's in the right place, but with the tap in the right place, I can tighten that down, and then there's actually some screw holes there that I can put a couple screws into so that it can't back off. I'm not going to bother tightening this down anymore because I'm going to have to take it out when I go to install the drinking water tap. I have, however, noticed that this area of the sink is only supported by the foam gasket. And I don't really like that idea because that foam gasket is just going to trap any water that gets in there between the gasket and the wooden countertop. So I went in for lunch and I had a bit of a think. How could I make this any better? Well, I could 3D print myself a spacer. But since I'm not doing that right now, I'll just put this somewhere where I won't be able to find it later. That's where I put the drain. While I was having my lunch, I had another interesting thought in that I may not be able to use this style of bolt to go through the cabinets behind the hinge, but that doesn't stop me from using a countersink 1/4-20. So I can install this bolt through here and it'll still be flush so that I can put the hinge over top. So that's what I'm going to do now. I want to go in that hole there, which lines up with this hole here. Now I want to upsize that hole to the right size for the insert. And then I can put in the insert.
If you're interested in more info on the insert nuts that I'm using, take a look at this video where I secured all the kitchen cabinets together.
Then I can install the 1/4-20 bolt from the other side. those are now super secure and flush on each side. With that bolt in, now I can put in the hinges. Before I can go sticking the cupboard doors on, I gotta stick a couple more of these on.
If you're not sure what these I'm referring to are, check out this video where I 3D printed the points that help secure the cabinets to the walls.
Actually, come to think of it, that tape gets stronger with time, so I think before I put any stress on those upper brackets, I'm gonna let it sit for 24 to 48 hours. I think that's all I'm gonna get done today, but we got a lot done. The countertop is installed, the latches have catches on them, the sink is in, the tap is in, the hinges for the overheads are in, and the wall brackets are in. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. If you've got any questions, throw them in the comments section down below and I'll do what I can to answer them. Check the links in the video description, share the video if you think it'll help someone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you same time, same place, next week.